Nursing a very wounded ego, Darius planned an imminent reinvasion, with plans to raze Athens to the ground. But internal politics delayed these plans and Darius died of old age. Seeking to avenge the pride of his dead father, Xerxes prepared for a decisive campaign to end Greek independence forever. Remembering well the lessons at Marathon, Xerxes took his time to build a sizable force. Though some historical accounts tell of a force of up to 2.5 million strong, these are almost certainly gross exaggerations, and it's more likely that Xerxes marched with 200,000 to 250,000. Though for the ancient world this would certainly have been an incredible and mind-boggling number. Spartan King Leonidas marshaled a force of 300 of his personal bodyguards and helots, and took command of the briefly unified Greek forces numbering at 7,000. The bulk of the Spartan army did not march in support of its king because the Spartans greatly feared that the helots they held as slaves might break into an all-out revolt if the army left, and didn't take them with them. Outnumbered by incredible ratios, victory was unlikely, a fact Athens knew well as it had already begun the evacuation of the city. As Persian forces marched into Greece, Leonidas led his small army for the pass at Thermopylae, which at the time was no more than 50 feet across and bordered on one side by tall cliffs and the ocean on the other. The pass allowed Greek forces to make the best use of their formidable phalanx formation, while completely denying the Persians the advantage of their overwhelming numbers. Massing his forces before the Greek position, Xerxes dispatched a spy to ascertain what the Greeks were up to, only for the astonished spy to return and report that the Greeks were stripping nude for exercise and fixing each other's hair, a common tradition especially among the Spartans. Sending a formal messenger, Xerxes offered the assembled Greeks a truce. The defenders should surrender and become allies to Xerxes in exchange for being allowed to retreat unharmed and being granted some of the lands of those who resisted. The offer was debated amongst the assembled Greeks, with many wanting to accept it, including a number of Spartans. But in the end, it was Leonidas' leadership that kept the alliance together. Infuriated by the rejection, Xerxes ordered his troops forward into battle. Funneled into the narrow pass, the Persian forces ran into the shields and spears of the Greek defenders, not making so much as a dent. Armed with short spears and swords, Persian forces could not penetrate the layers of the Greek phalanx, and thousands died while the Greeks suffered few losses. At the night of the second day, fate turned against the Greek defenders, or perhaps legend states that a Greek defector known as Ephialtes contacted Xerxes and offered to show the Persians a route around the Greek position. In all news of imminent encirclement, Leonidas considered his options and chose to order the majority of his forces to retreat, while making one last stand against the advancing Persians. If Leonidas could ensure the retreat of a unified Greek force and then make one last valiant stand against these foreign invaders, perhaps his sacrifice could rally the rest of Greece and show them they were capable of standing side by side as free Greeks, not enemies.